What is going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and today I want to talk to you guys about what, in my opinion, needs to be fixed in the Call of Duty World War II beta. What needs to be changed, what needs to be balanced for the full version of the game. I did this for weekend 1, now I'm doing it for weekend 2 because there's been a lot of changes, been a lot of things that come up, in my opinion, that I feel like needs to be addressed in this game and that needs to be changed for future versions of this game. And I mean, hopefully they'll do it. Hopefully they will, because there's a lot of things that I think need to be changed, and I have a list of just about 5 things in here. There's a few like minor details in there as well, but like here's 5 main things that I think need to be changed. And the thing is, I'm going off of what is realistic. I'm not gonna, say I want these, completely unrealistic changes that will definitely not happen, because that's just not constructive. I'm trying to put constructive criticism to this game. I'm not going to be like, oh, I hate all the guns, I hate everything, they should add, futuristic guns or something like that. Obviously something that just can't change, I'm not going to complain about. Or, the fact that they have, females in the multiplayer, which, like I said, I don't really care about. But even if I was complaining about that, that's not something they're going to change, so it's unrealistic to complain about it. And a lot of other things, the created class system, them going back to pick 10, that's unrealistic. But I do have some fixes for the created class that I'm going to go over in just a minute. So all these changes are realistic changes that can very well be done, and hopefully will be done for the full version of the game. And since this obviously is a beta, a lot of my complaints, are things that will probably be fixed in the full version of the game, but I'm just, addressing them now just to make sure they actually do it right in the full version of the game. So first things first, we have the division system, and like I said, I don't think they should just, because they won't. They can't just change it back to pick 10. Personally, I like pick 10 better, and I would rather have pick 10. But since they already put this whole division system into place, they already started it. They already, the game's coming out in like 2 months, so they're not changing it back to pick 10. It's just not happening. So how can they fix the division system? Well, I have a few problems with it. So first of all, I don't know if it's going to be like this in the first game, or in the full game, but you are forced to have a secondary weapon at all times, no matter what. There is no option to remove it. There is no option to, deselect it, and that I don't like that. I know you don't have to use it and all, but I like pick 10 because it allows me, if I don't use the pistol that much, it allows me to remove it and get an extra perk or an extra attachment or something of the sort. So I hope they do this and they allow people to switch out their secondary for either an extra basic training, maybe you can get 2 basic trainings, or maybe an extra attachment on your primary, or maybe another lethal or tactical. And that's how pick 10 system works, but since I know they're not going to go back to that, I think they should do this. And they should also allow you to remove your lethal grenade or your tactical grenade, whatever you're using. They should allow you to take that off and replace it with another perk or another attachment or whatever, And it should also allow you to remove, attachments to get more perks or more lethals. It should allow you to remove your basic training and put on maybe another attachment. Stuff like this should just be done. And the perks, I don't really, I don't think that matters that much, but for the pistols, and especially the grenades, the lethal grenades, holy shit, these grenades are spammed like crazy because they are forced on every class. You can't, deselect grenades and get something out of it. You can't, not like you could in Black Ops 2, Advanced Warfare, even Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 3. That's not something you can do in this game, so it automatically forces you to have grenade like Modern Warfare Remastered, so that means it inclines people to use it more often. And that's why this game is just insane with the amount of grenades being spammed, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's not as bad as Modern Warfare, but it's still pretty freaking common, and that really pisses me off. And I think if they allow you to remove the grenade, like instead of nerfing the grenade, making it do less damage, because I don't really care. I want it to be powerful. I don't want there to be weak grenades. But if you allow people to remove the grenade for an extra perk or an extra attachment, they will do it, because more times than not, people don't really like to use grenades in a tactical way. They usually use grenades just to piss people off and throw them randomly across the map and just hope for the best. That's kind of how I use them, to be completely honest. So, but if I had the option to remove it for an extra attachment or extra basic training perk, I would go with it any day of the freaking week. Another huge problem I have with the division system is the fact that there is perks that are specific to divisions. I don't like that. I really don't like the fact that the only way to use to sprint for longer distances, or to climb over obstacles faster, or increase sprint speed, is to use the airborne division. And I know you can use whatever gun you want with whatever division, but then you don't get the division attachment, and that kind of pisses me off. And you can't. So what if you want to run a suppressor? Okay, you can't run a suppressor with the being invisible to enemy recon, and you can't have silent movement while also having a suppressor, because you have to use the mountain division for silent movement, or to being invisible off of enemy radar. What if you want to be invisible off enemy radar, but also sprint for longer distances? So in my opinion, the only way they can possibly fix this is just remove this entire division system, where you level up the division to 5 tiers. Like, I don't mind leveling up the division, that's cool and all, and you can unlock perks as you go through the divisions. I think that's cool. But to force you to have every single one of those perks for that is just kind of stupid to me, because it's like, okay, you level it up and then you get all those perks at all times. So if you use the mountain, you're always invisible. Like, I kind of see what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it so people have sort of it's more set in stone. It's more specific. If you are a sniper, you're gonna be, invisible and off the radar. If you're an SMG, you're gonna be fast-paced. If you're armored, you're gonna be protected by grenades and stuff like that. If you're infantry, you're gonna have more attachments and more ammo to fire. You're gonna have, stock. If you run, the expeditionary for the shotguns, you're gonna have more equipment and stuff like that. You're gonna get scavenger to pick up more ammo. And I understand where they're going with that. I understand what they're trying to do, but I just don't like that. I don't like forcing you to have each and every one of those division perks and not being able to use them with anything else. So if you don't include the weapon attachment or the classified rifle, there's 3 perks per division. That's kind of how it works. So that means 3 times 5 is 15. So that's 15 division perks. So what they should do is they should just make division perks a separate category on your creator class, and you can get 2 of them, and then you can pick 2 of them, but you can also you have to unlock them obviously through using the division. So if I wanted to unlock the one for the being off the enemy radar, I have to use the mountain division and level it up to level 3 or 4 or whatever. And once you get enough kills with snipers, because that's what you have to use for the mountain division, boom, you get the division perk that you want, and you get to use it with any gun, with any division, whatever you want, and you don't have to use all of them. It just gives you a specific amount of them, maybe like 2, and maybe they would like show up right under the basic training perk. Like, I was thinking about switching, just putting them in with basic training perks, just having them kind of together. But I think it would work if they were separate as well, because I believe they were separate in the alpha build of the game that were YouTubers playing at E3. There was 2 separate perks. That's what they were. They were division training and basic training. I don't know why they just decided to take basic division training and just put them into specific divisions and not allow you to use them for any other ones. I don't like that. So if you can take these, maybe 2 of them, because there's a lot of them, maybe just 1 of them, I don't really care. You get 1 basic, 1 division, and maybe you got to get an extra 1 if you don't use a secondary. You get an extra 1 if you don't use lethal. You get an extra 1 if you don't use all your attachments. And this will allow you to be able to use, more 3 attachments on a weapon, but at the same time being able to keep your airborne suppressor, or being able to keep your expeditionary, incinerator shells, stuff like that. And I feel like, Sledgehammer is really big on letting the player play how they want. That's why they added female characters and black characters, because they want us to play how they want. But then they give us this division system, which is very restricting to what you want to do. And that's completely taking away from the whole point of what they were trying to do with this multiplayer. So I really don't like that, how they're doing that with divisions. And that's all I have to say about divisions. That's only the first thing out of this video. Hopefully this video is not going to be too long. Next up, we have streaks. Now, I like the score streaks in this game. They're awesome. They showed off 9 score streaks out of probably, there's usually like 14 or 15 streaks in the full game. So maybe there's a couple more. There are a lot that we still haven't seen yet that we saw in the trailer and stuff like that, so we still have a lot more to come. But I definitely like how powerful the score streaks are. There's a lot of good ones. I love the Molotov. The UAV is normal as usual. Care package is cool. I love the fighter pilot. The glide bomb's awesome. The flamethrower is awesome. Mortar strike and artillery barrage is great. Paratroopers used to suck, but they buffed it recently, and it's actually really good now. And I'm really happy with these streaks. I think they are very, very viable, and they feel like Black Ops 2 style streaks that get you a shit ton of kills, and they're fun as hell to use. But what I'm nervous about is that they're not going to give us enough streaks. I want a shitload of streaks. I want dogs. I want the fighter pilots. I want more streaks than you could ever imagine. in this game, and only having 9 and then maybe a few more is going to be a little, iffy. And I hope they have really high streaks, because I've realized as Call of Duties go on, the streaks get lower and lower and lower. Like whatever happened to Black Ops 2, where the high streak was 1900 score to get, but then you have like Advanced Warfare, the high streak was like, well, with attachments it was like 1500. And then Black Ops 3, the highest was like 1700. Infinite Warfare, I think it was only like 1400 was the highest streak. Why do they keep going lower and lower and lower? I want a streak that is 2000 score to get, because I want some challenges to go for. I don't want to have all these streaks be really, really low, because they're so easy to get in a normal game. And I guess it's saying from a decent player, but like I just want to be able to go for really high streaks, and not just like going for nuclears and stuff like that, because I don't really like going for nuclears as much as I like going on score streaks, because I like playing the objective and getting score while I'm doing it. And so I hope they have some really high score streaks in this game, and that's something that I feel like we missed in the beta. The high streak was only 1200. That's not that much. Hopefully we'll get some really high ones to come in the full game. I don't want the highest to be only like 1400 or something, because that's just not high enough for me. I want to be able to go up to like 2000 score for some crazy awesome amazing streak. But that is all I have to say about streaks. Other than that, pretty awesome. Next up, we have weapon balancing. So far, the weapon balancing seems to be pretty good, all things considered. But the only problem I have with it is the SMGs are overpowered. They are the best class in the game. They're they're way more valuable than other perks or other guns. And I know an easy way to fix them. All you gotta do is each and every one of the SMGs, honestly I think every one of them, is just decrease the damage at longer ranges by a little bit. So just decrease the range. That's all you need to do, honestly. Other than that, I think they're fine. I just think, SMGs are obviously up close weapons, and they shouldn't have range. But a lot of these SMGs, like the Thompson, I'm pretty sure the MP40 has some crazy range, even though it's not even in the beta, but in the alpha build, people are saying it has crazy range. The PPSH is crazy range, Type 100. The WAF 28, which is freaking has a shitload of recoil, still has crazy range. Even the Grease Gun, which is probably the worst out of all of them, still has crazy range and even damages at those longer ranges. And they just shouldn't be like that. They should be, very, very weak at long distances. And I think they should do that with them. And then other than that, I think everything is very balanced. I think shotguns are viable. I think LMGs are viable. I think assault rifles are very viable. Snipers are very, very, very good in this game, actually. So I'm very happy about that. And I just think they have a good variety of the abilities to use different weapons. Now, this kind of goes with Divisions. I understand what they were trying to do. You have to use a sniper to get specific things, because they want people to be using different weapons. They want people to be more diverse in their playstyles. And yes, I guess that does make people more diverse, but at the same time, like I said, I want people to choose their own thing and be able to play their own way, even if they don't want to, use a sniper or whatever. Which, I think just the fact that everything's very balanced in this game, and the maps so far I'm actually loving. People say the maps suck, but I'm saying I love it because they're very diverse maps. And this kind of goes in with my next point, because we're kind of done talking about weapon balancing here, is the map diversity. Now, so far I think we're good on that, but I just hope they continue to do it, and I hope they continue to do, well, not really continue, but they haven't really done it in the game, I guess. But I hope they do map-specific events. That's probably going to be more DLC type thing, but I want very, very unique and innovative and dynamic maps, just like Call of Duty Ghosts and Advanced Warfare had. Now, I know that probably fits better in the war mode, and hopefully we'll get really cool war maps to come, because I loved Operation Breakout. It's a lot of fun. Would love some more. But I guess those are really where the diverse maps come into play. But I even want some of the main multiplayer maps to be diverse and really fun and different and innovative. And hopefully we will get that in the full version of the game, because so far, honestly, we have some pretty diverse maps. We have, a 3-lane map. We have like a long map that's like Call of Duty 4 like. We have 2 kind of clustered, very close quarters maps. One of them a little bit less than the other, but still pretty damn close quarters. And I'm loving the maps, honestly. People are saying they hate them. They say they're worse than Call of Duty history. I think they're pretty good. I don't like cookie cutter 3-lane maps, and that's all. Like Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, all they do is just give you 3-lane maps. It's like, alright, like, can you give us something else? Like, they just, because I know 3-lane maps are, generally seen as the best maps in Call of Duty history. That doesn't mean I want every map to be like that. I want some diversity in these maps, and that's something they really, really need. And another thing that kind of has to do with map diversity, but not sort of, for war mode, I want vehicles in war mode, and I want there to be more players and bigger maps in war. I want 8v8s, 9v9s with vehicles that are drivable and controllable. Now, I got really excited. If you guys saw my multiplayer reveal reaction trailer, I freaked hell when I saw that there was a tank in war mode. I was so excited because I love vehicles and using them like Battlefield, and I really wanted vehicles to come back in this game, only on some maps and specifically in war mode. But then I play the game and I find out that the tank isn't actually controllable. It's just you go in it and you shoot, and it's cool and all. I love that. But I wish we can get controllable vehicles. Like maybe in war mode you can call in a fighter pilot, but it's not a fighter pilot like it is in the multiplayer where it just goes straight down a line. Maybe a fighter pilot, you actually get to control, fly around, you can shoot, you can drive down, you can nosedive, you can do whatever you want, and actually controllable. And you get these for doing specific things. In war mode makes it maybe, you know, because the war mode's very narrative driven and stuff like that. Maybe there will be tanks that are actually controllable and dry, and you know, you can control them yourselves and stuff like that. Maybe just trucks and vehicles and motorcycles, stuff like that. I want that to be within the war modes of these maps, and maybe we'll get them in some of them. I really hope we do, and I really don't want to be disappointed or let down, because I'm really excited for war mode because I had a lot of fun. Operation Breakout, like I said, hopefully it'll be really cool. Last thing I have is better gun sounds. Now they can change gun sounds. They always do that. Black Ops 3, you listen to the beta, there are a lot of differences in gun sounds, and they even said they're doing some fine tuning on stuff like that. And there's, you know, most of the guns sound good, to be completely honest, but some of them just sound too similar to one another, and I don't like that. And there's a few of them that just don't sound like the real version of the weapon that I want them to sound like it. For example, PPSH. PPSH does not sound like the original PPSH that we all know and love from World at War. It should sound like it. I don't know why it doesn't. It sounds very different. And the real PPSH in real life, the real one, you know, I've heard it, you know, being shot. It does sound more like the World at War one. So hopefully they can change it maybe and make it sound more like the World at War one. Other than that, honestly, most of the guns sound pretty similar to their real life counterparts. I just think the PPSH needs to have that little bit of a better sound. And maybe a few other guns, I don't know. Maybe the M181 carbine should have more of that little clunky sound that it has. But other than that, I'm loving the game. Like I said, great game. Just need some few, you know, hit detection fixes. And they already said they're going over there. I don't really cover anything that Michael Condrey already said they're working on, because what's the point of, you know, complaining about something that they're already fixing in them probably right now. As of right now, as we speak, they're probably working on a fix for it. So I'm not going to complain about those things. But stuff that, you know, maybe they don't know about, maybe they don't really hear enough, and I haven't heard them say anything about, I wanted to cover in this video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Peace out.